Three.
Okay, Mark, so today we're going to be learning about one of the most fundamental concepts of political science, okay? That concept is known as the prisoner's dilemma. Okay, the prisoner's dilemma is a kind of collective action problem in which we can see where an individual's decision can greatly influence another individual. In the prisoner's dilemma, we can see that an individual, when left to their own devices, might only pick the best option for themselves and not for the group. Okay, and we can see this clearly in this visual. Can you look up here? In this visual that I have over here. Okay, in this visual you can see that we have a scenario of two prisoners that might be going to jail and they both belong to the same group. So prisoner 1, you can see, if they rat out prisoner 2, they'll get 10 years or prisoner 2 will get 10 years in jail. And vice versa, if prisoner 2 rats out prisoner 1, then prisoner 1 will get 10 years in jail. And even worse, if both of these prisoners rat each other out, then they both get 7 years in jail, which is a total sum of 14 years for the group. The best solution or the best option in this situation is if they both kept quiet and thought about the group instead of their own benefit. If they both kept quiet, they'd both only get 2 years, and that's the least time out of any of the other options. So you can see that if an individual decides based on what's best for the group and not what's best for themselves, they'll get the best option some of the times, not all the time. That's important to the prisoner's dilemma, okay? Okay, so in the real world, we can see two real situations of the prisoner's dilemma going on. And I'm gonna word it so it's easy for you to understand, okay, Mars? So the first situation is the free rider situation. And that's basically if, let's say, hey, are you listening? Let's say you were at a dog hotel and there's a bunch of other dogs and they're all your friends, but there's one mean dog, okay? And that mean dog, you and your other friends know that if someone were to go talk to that mean dog and figure out why he's mean and make him happy again, then everyone could be friends and it'd be best for the group, right? But no individual dog has the incentive to go talk to the mean dog and make him happy. So no individual ends up going to talk to the mean dog to make him happy. And so you're stuck with the mean dog and the group isn't happy because you still have a mean dog. And that's pretty much what the free rider problem is. It's when no individual has the incentive to work for what's best for the community, so the community is left without the benefits. And the other real world situation is known as the tragedy of the commons, okay? And the tragedy of the commons would pretty much be like if you were still at this dog hotel and you had all your friends with you, but there's only one bowl of treats, okay? And the bowl of treats is running out really fast because everyone keeps going and getting the treats. So we decide to ration out the treats and make sure each dog only gets one treat a day. But if you think that if you keep eating the treats at a normal rate, it won't affect the group, because normally it wouldn't affect the group if only one person out of a group would continue using an item or good at a normal rate. It normally wouldn't affect the group, but the tragedy of the commons is when all the individuals in your group, every single dog has the same logic. And so they all continue eating the treats at the same rate as they normally would, and the treats perish at a normal rate because no one ended up rationing it out. So the tragedy of the commons is pretty much where an individual thinks that their actions won't greatly affect the community, but when the community each has the same logic, they all they perish the item or good that they're trying to save, and so there's no longer that item or good. And you might be thinking, what's the solution to all of this? How am I going to save my treats, and how am I going to have all my friends at the dog hotel be nice? And I'm here to tell you what the solution is. So the tragedy of the commons has 3 steps to this, pretty much they need 3 things to happen for a solution to be met at the prisoner's dilemma. And these 3 things that have to happen to solve the prisoner's dilemma is basically you need a set of rules, and you need someone to monitor these rules and make sure they're being carried out. And you need someone to be able to punish those that break the rules. And you might be thinking, wow, this sounds a lot like our American system of government. And you're right, because those three rules are equal to our three branches of government. We have the legislative branch, which sets out the rules that we need to follow. And we have the executive branch, which monitors whether or not people are following these rules and they carry out the rules. And we have the judicial branch, which punishes those that don't follow the rules or they break the rules. Another similar solution would be religion, because they also have a set of rules, someone to monitor those rules, and a punishment if someone breaks those rules. So that's pretty much what the prisoner's dilemma is and how to solve it. And so we're going to go over and make sure you understand what you just learned. So when I tell you to shake, I want you to shake if you understand one of the concepts that I tell you, okay? So if you think that the prisoner's dilemma is a collective action problem, can you give me paw? Okay, great. And if you agree that two common real-world situations of this are the free rider problem and the tragedy of the commons, can you give me paw? Okay, good. You understand. Okay, and lastly, if you agree that government is a good means to solve the prisoner's dilemma, can you give me paw? Okay, good. So you understand the prisoner's dilemma, and that concludes this lecture.